Good morning, guys. Okay, so today is the first day we've had in about 3 weeks where it didn't feel like we were actually at the North Pole. Here in central Ontario, Canada, we do get some very, very cold winters at times, but lately it's just been amazingly cold, way too cold. We've been affected by this Arctic air mass that's pushed all the way down into Mexico. There's even been some snow, I'm told, in Florida. Hey, today though, it's only -1. That feels tropical after what we've had. Of course, we're used to the cold weather here, and that's fine. But lately, it's just been super cold. Anyhow, having said that, it gives us the opportunity to get out today. What we're going to do, we're heading south from where I live in Wasaga Beach, Ontario. We're heading down to an area around the village and town, or small town of Creemore. We're going into the hills and the countryside around that community. What we're looking for today is some taller pine trees, maybe covered in snow. We're looking for something like that. Also, about, maybe 3 months ago, back in the late fall, a couple of months ago, I photographed an area that was a woodland location, again, near Creemore. And we got some really quite interesting and nice images from that, which I really enjoyed doing. I wanted to go back there today. I wanted to photograph it today in the winter time. So hey, what I'm going to do is, just to jog your memory, I'm going to pop up a photograph that we took there back in the late fall. So here it is now. So there you go. That jogs your memory. That's where we were last fall. All the leaves have gone off the trees except for a few dried leaves on a few small saplings and smaller trees. There was a dusting of snow on the ground, as you could see. Today, totally different conditions. We've got 3 or 4 feet of snow on the ground now. And you really kind of need snowshoes for that kind of stuff, which I don't have, I'm afraid. I do have to get some, but I just don't have them. So we're going to see what we can do. So that's one of the locations we're going to shoot today. And there's 2 or 3 other little locations that I've kind of been thinking about stopping at. We are out in the car today. The distances we're going to travel are just way too far for a day's hike, so we're just not going to do that. But hey, Gary here with Gary Clayton Photography. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's head out. Let's see what we can find. We also have the drone with us today. If things go right and it's not too cold, maybe we can pop up the drone and get some aerial stuff. You know what? It'll be a lot of fun. By the way, I'm using my Canon 550D today, which is a crop sensor camera. My Canon 5D Mark II, it's into Canon for service work. It's got a few little issues, so I don't have that available to me today. So as I say, I'm using my Canon 55D, which is a great little camera. T2i in North America, 550D in Europe, I believe. It's a great little camera, and it's actually the camera I use for my underwater photography. So we're going to be using that today. Let's go. Let's have some fun. Let's see what we can find. So we've made it to one of the locations. Now, we're pretty much knee-high in snow here. This is really where snowshoes would be a great benefit to me. I can't go much further in there simply because I don't have snowshoes right now. I do need to get them, and then we could get in there. But what we're looking at right now is we have some pines with snow, a couple of smaller birch limbs and trees. That's the composition we're going for. Now, I'm just using my Canon 550D. I've got my 18 to 55mm lens, kit lens. I'm using a focal length right now of 35mm. I have an ISO of 100. I have a f-stop of f8, a 2-second timer. Let's take that shot. There it is. You know what? If that shot's any good at all, and I hope it is, I'm going to pop it up right now for you to look at. I'm going to continue working with this, see how we make out. Okay, so we've just switched the camera now to a vertical orientation or a portrait orientation. I've changed my composition slightly now. I'm bringing it in a little tighter. Again, My f-stop is f8. My focal length is still 35mm. It's giving me a shutter speed today of about 1/80th of a second. I have a 2-second timer. Let's take that shot. There you go. It looks awesome. I love it because we've got the really nice gray backdrop behind those trees. It's a gray, overcast kind of snowy day today, and it's just perfect for this particular type of photography. One little point. When we're shooting in the snow, keep in mind that your camera wants to turn everything to 18% gray. It's going to dull in the snow. It's not going to give you that white, crisp kind of look if you take the image on what the camera tells you is correctly exposed. So I like to overexpose by about 2/3 to 1 stop over. In post, that helps me create a nice white for the snow. Just a little point. But yeah, here we are. It's looking good. We've got 1 or 2 good shots, I think, in the bag. We're going to continue down the road here a little bit. It is starting to get cold. It's cold on the fingers. But you know what? It's not as bad as it has been. Hey, let's move on down the road. Let's see what else we can find. Okay, so right now, we're at another location. Now, this location here is very close to where I was shooting late in the fall. And again, we've got some amazing dried golden leaves on some of the smaller saplings and trees. We've got lots and lots of snow, probably 3 or 4 feet of snow. In fact, again, as I've said already, it's virtually impossible to make headway without snowshoes. So snowshoes is something we're going to get probably today. But anyhow, we're all set up on the tripod again. And again, I'm using my Canon 550D. I'm using my 10 to 22mm wide lens right now. I'm showing a focal length of about 18 millimeters. I have a f-stop of f8. It's giving me a shutter speed of 1/60th of a second at an ISO of 100. I have a 2-second timer. Hey, there's the shot. We're simply looking right deep into the forest here. And again, we've got some beautiful color here. We have a little bit of a breeze. I'm not sure at 1/60th of a second if I froze that breeze or not, or the movement of the leaves. We're going to have to check that out. But anyhow, hey, I think, you know what, to get a slightly faster shutter speed, or to get a faster shutter speed, I'm just going to bump up the ISO a little bit. And I'm going to take a couple of shots at maybe an ISO of 200 and an ISO of 400, because I do want to get those leaves sharp, and they are moving in the wind. So I think 1/60th of a second is going to be too slow. I'm going to see if I can get a faster shutter speed. Okay, so we set up again in a vertical orientation or portrait orientation. We've tried a couple of shots with that, but it is getting really, really, really cold. So I think right there is 1 or 2 other little locations I'd like to stop at. And again, we are in the car, so we can get warmed up there. So we're going to move on to another location or 2. We also want to see if we can pop up the drone, get a little bit of aerial, because it would be nice looking at these woods from an aerial point of view, again, with all this snow on the ground. So yeah, let's go back to the car. We're going to get warmed up a little bit. Fingers are really cold. We're going to go from there. Okay, so we're back in the car. We've got the heater on, engine running, car nice and warm, getting the fingers and so on warmed up. You know, even though here in Ontario, it's warmed up immensely from just a few days ago of -25 and -30. It's still Ontario, it's still Canada, and it's still cold, even though it's warmed up a lot. It's still very, very cold out there. Lots of snow. A little cooler it's feeling today, simply because of we have that breeze or that wind, and that's just chilling you to the bone. One little tip, when you go out and do these kind of shoots in these kind of conditions, you've got to make sure you do have the right gear. As you already know, I don't have snowshoes. If I had snowshoes, we could get further into the bush, into the woods and the woodland, and that would be much more interesting for us. But we don't, and it's virtually impossible to progress in 3 and 4 feet of snow without snowshoes. So we are going to get some of those anyhow, because I've been thinking about that for a while. But you know what, we're having a lot of fun. If you don't get out, even in conditions that are a little challenging, then you simply don't get the shot. So hey, there's no point. You might as well just stay home in bed if you're not going to go out and try to get that shot. And you know what? Every now and then, too, you come across some amazing wildlife out here. Wolf, fox, this kind of thing. We didn't today, but sometimes we do. But anyhow, let's continue. We're going to go around. We're going to have a look at one or two other little places I'm thinking of. And we'll see what else we can find. Although time is getting on here, too, so... You know what, maybe we're going to have to cut it a little shorter today, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. Well, it just keeps getting colder today, and that wind keeps getting stronger. We did just stop, and I just wanted to take a few shots of that tree in the field. We have shot that tree before. I didn't set up the tripod. I just did a couple of handheld shots with my 55 to 250 mil Canon lens. Yeah. You know what, it's getting really cold now, and I think about now is about a good time for me to go and have coffee. So you know what, we're going to head back to the studio, we're going to have some coffee, maybe stop at a little coffee shop on the way. That'd be nice. Yeah, see you later. Now, Cremor is a community that I love to stop in. Snowbanks here, lots of them. I love to stop in this small community when I'm in this area doing some landscape photography. It's absolutely a beautiful little community. Just take a little look down the main street here. It's a gorgeous little country community. But just up here on the left, there's a little cafe. They have the best ever coffee, muffins, cookies, baked goods, things like that. So we're going to stop in there right now. We're going to get warmed up. We're going to take a break. And then we're going to carry on. I'd like to get a little bit of aerial footage of those palm trees. Palm trees. What the hell was I talking about? Oh. I guess they're closed.